I've received a few comments about marijuana, and this is no surprise as marijuana, which is illegal in many countries, is the most commonly used illicit drug, and its use is particularly common in people with anxiety disorders. So I'm going to look at whether marijuana can help reduce your anxiety as many claim it can. I will also look at the side effects and the risks to both mental health and physical health, and give you my own personal opinion. Just to be clear, in this video I'm talking about marijuana, also referred to as cannabis or weed. I am not talking about CBD. I have another video on CBD, which I will link at the end. Marijuana contains two cannabinoids. One is CBD and the other is THC. CBD is not the psychoactive part of the plant, so it does not cause euphoric feelings or any other mind-altering effects. THC is the psychoactive part, so creates the feeling that users describe as feeling high. So, does marijuana relieve anxiety, and if so, why? There's a lot of anecdotal evidence that it does bring temporary relief, and clinical research seems to agree, at least to some extent. Both CBD and THC, which are both in marijuana, have an anxiolytic effect. Anxiolytic means anxiety reducing, but various studies have shown that it is dose dependent. As discussed in my video on CBD, after a certain optimal dose, increasing the dose size has a diminishing effect, so more is not better. However, CBD does not seem to cause any negative effects psychologically, at least in the short term. However, this is not the case with THC. As the dose increases past the optimal amount, THC goes from being anxiolytic to anxiogenic, meaning it actually increases anxiety. There is also some evidence that the CBD in marijuana may offset some of the anxiogenic effects of the THC. The problem is that the THC content of marijuana has increased significantly over the years, while the CBD content has fallen slightly. This study reported that from 1995 to 2014, the average THC content of seized cannabis products virtually tripled from approximately 4% to approximately 12%. Since most marijuana is bought illegally, you never know what the content of THC is, and it may vary from batch to batch. So trying to take the optimal amount of THC so it relieves your anxiety instead of making it worse is very difficult. So, what are the side effects of marijuana? In addition to the high feeling, you may experience changes in vision, mood, sense of time, impaired body movement, difficulty thinking straight, and memory loss. At much higher doses, you may experience hallucinations, delusions, or psychosis. So what about the risks? Obviously there are the physical risks like falling, getting into a fight, or having a car accident, which is why you should never ever drive when taking it. And with any type of smoking, there are the known health risks. If mixed with tobacco, there's an increased risk of cancer and heart disease. And even vaping has its own risks like popcorn lung. But there is some evidence that marijuana itself may increase the risk of testicular cancer in men. But what about mentally? This review reported that smoking high-potency marijuana every day could increase the chances of developing psychosis by nearly 5 times compared to people who have never used marijuana. And this review said emerging evidence supports a number of associations between cannabis and psychosis/psychotic disorders, including schizophrenia. Of course, this doesn't happen to everyone who takes cannabis. It seems some people may be vulnerable to developing a psychotic disorder due to their genes and/or their life events. But as you don't know if you have these genes, it really is a lottery, especially if you are smoking the high-potency variants regularly. And there is another risk for people with anxiety. Many people who have anxiety disorders are taking medications called SSRIs. This review found that the use of marijuana or its derivatives could increase the risk of SSRI side effects. Finally, a word about dependency. Weed is often seen as a harmless drug because it's less addictive than some of the harder drugs. But recent data suggests that 30% of those who use marijuana may have some degree of marijuana use disorder. And people who begin using marijuana before the age of 18 are 4 to 7 times more likely to develop marijuana use disorders than adults. So despite giving some temporary relief for anxiety, if you can get the dose right, which is difficult, marijuana does not have much going for it as an anxiety treatment. And now for my own view. I understand that when you are suffering with anxiety, you want some instant relief, and marijuana may sometimes give you that. But in the long term, it can be damaging, and not just for the reasons I have covered in this video. Marijuana is a form of avoidance, and avoidance makes anxiety worse in the long term. The people who are able to face their anxiety and find healthier, natural ways to manage it are the ones who overcome it. This is best done with the help of a trained therapist. But if you can't access therapy or want to supplement what you are learning about the right way to treat your anxiety, you will find lots of self-help videos in my playlist. I have one for each anxiety disorder. If you have found this video useful, please click on like. And I would be interested to hear your own thoughts or experiences on this subject in the comments below. Take care now.